Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, it's great to see you. Another big football week. And I have a question for you, though. How long have we been doing this show together?
It's coming on like 13 years in November.
And that's enough to make people stop their cars and pay attention. That's a lot of years for a
13
podcast.
years, yeah.
Where I'm going with this is how many times in 13 years, we work together very closely throughout the week and we record every week. How often have I yelled to you, calm the fuck down?
Maybe we argued on a podcast once, but I don't think we ever yelled calm the fuck down.
I've never said that to you. And we've worked together 13 years. Last night, watching Prime Video, Kyler Murray told his head coach to calm the fuck down twice. That's not normal behavior.
Yeah, they something's going on there. And now I heard, can I tell you, I heard a Colin Cowherd talk about something. He's like, oh, this makes sense. And it really did make sense to me. Trade Russell for Kyler. Kyler uncoachable. Get rid of him. Kyler is not coachable. All Russ wants to do. Russ just wants to please you, Jeremy. Russ wants to make you his best friend in the most cringe way possible, but he wants to do it. And that's what should count. Swap those two. I think Kyler, because wasn't he a really high draft pick in baseball too? Like, I feel like he's got a real big, he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. What's the opposite when you're like so good that you don't even have this on your shoulder?
Like, don't give a fuck chip.
Yeah, that's what he's got. Because wasn't he going to get like $100 million contract from the Oakland A's or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Exactly. He was drafted to sports star, and he's supposed to be able to play both. I don't like that trade though. I mean, Kyler's much better than Russell. I know you can't contain Kyler. I know he's going off, but when he plays well, like he did last night, obviously because Call of Duty dropped and he has a whole all weekend to play, and he was in a great mood last night.
So pumped,
and that's why he played well. But if they can have these games and always a video game release next to it, I mean, he could play like this every week.
Do you think it's more the coaching staff, or do you think it's actually Kyler? Because Kyler kind of evolved into this. I think he feels a little too comfortable now. It's looking like, I want to call the plays. Like, remember one of the pre-games, he tried calling some of the plays. He's really trying to like show the coach like he can do this. I don't know how much longer one of those two are there, because what's happening isn't working. Now, DeAndre Hopkins makes him a better quarterback because DeAndre Hopkins catches literally anything. Any ball you throw at him, he catches. He's like the best. He's great at it. So
they look better automatically with Hopkins back, even without Hollywood Brown. They looked much better.
100%. Yeah. I didn't watch the whole game. I came home, watched like the second half of it, and I was losing my bet, so I just turned it off. I bet on the Saints to win, and I had the sports Equinox parlay going. I lost. You didn't chime in early enough.
Great day.
You told us not to bet on the Yankees, and then the Houston won, and it was a mess. So
what do you do with the Yankees? They can't hit. They've got rookies all over the field. They just barely beat the Guardians. Exactly. Well, check in with the baseball expert.
That's why they won. That's why they won money. The sports books won money yesterday.
Well, just my point on Kyler is I think there's a lot of issues there. I do think Cliff Kingsbury is more to blame. Remember, I told you he had Patrick Mahomes in college at Texas Tech, and they went 6-6 like every year. Cliff Kingsbury was never going to be a head coach in college, let alone the NFL, when the Cardinals plucked him out of thin air to be their coach. And to work with Kyler, I think Kyler would be fine with other coaches. But then you compare him to Russell, and it's like, whoa, Russell's so bad every week. I mean, he had a good first half last week coming off of his PRP injection out here in LA, and we're thinking he's back. Russell had 3 completions in the second half last week on Monday Night Football.
I don't know what's going on with Russ. I honestly do think it's a lot of coaching. And I think that's what's showing up now in a lot of the games where you kind of see like, okay, maybe you were a fraud, and maybe what was happening here before was actually better, but maybe we just had a bad superstar, right? Like, I don't know how many times you can blame one or the other. Like, obviously Jerry Jones has to make the decision, right? It's like either you have to fire a coach or you have to or get a new quarterback. That's kind of like what they do. I think you're kind of seeing it with like the Vikings too. Like, we thought the Vikings were going to be this explosive, the best team ever, coming out, going to win everything. They look good, but don't you think they kind of but don't you think they look very similar to what they look like a year ago with their old coach that they fired? Like, does it come down to scheme, or is it just some of the talent? Are we going to see it kind of in the crunch time when it really counts? And that's kind of what, I don't know. That's what I think Cliff doesn't understand it. I think you get away with it for a little bit when Kyler's young and he wants to like show you that he can do it and maybe trying really hard. I don't think he's trying anymore. He's just like, fuck you. I'm actually good. And I'm not
Oh, he got
listening.
paid. He got that bag. And so I think he has more motivation to say things like he's saying to Cliff on the sideline and running his own offense like Russ kind of does when he cooks a little bit too. Someone who's not feeling that way is Nathaniel Hackett in the Broncos. So again, they lost to the Chargers in an ugly game on Monday night. The Chargers look bad too. And I was thinking watching that game, like all the primetime games have been so bad this year. Like Monday nights, Sunday nights. Herb Street is whining every Thursday night about the game that he's doing with Al Michaels, except last night was more offense. I'm not saying Andy Dalton is exciting to watch, but there was more offense in that game. But we saw some stats this week. We're 6 weeks in. And if you had bet $100 on every under of the NFL season so far, you'd be up $1,500. There's another stat out there. We're down like 100 touchdowns through 6 weeks of the season. Where are all the touchdowns? And you're saying it's coaching. I think that's a good point because so many of the quarterbacks are the same. What is the reason for 100 less touchdowns in 6 weeks?
I have that stat. It says total touchdowns in 2020, we had 530. In 2021, we had 523. In 2022, we have 449.
That's through 6 weeks.
That's through 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's really bad.
So, well, my question above this I have, does it actually affect the game? Are we seeing a difference or are we only seeing it when it's highlighted on those? Now, Sunday night football has been okay, right? We haven't had like a bad Sunday night. I think it's more Monday and Thursday that becomes like the weirdly low scoring bad games.
Yeah.
Is this actually affecting the game? Are we seeing it differently? Or are we actually not noticing that there's this many touchdowns missing from the game?
Oh my gosh. I notice it every week because fantasy scores are down across the board. It's like fantasy matchups should be more higher. 100 to 100. It's like 80 to 60 in our leagues. Like, you know how to score 55 points a week better than anyone, right?
I do. That's pretty much my cap on my team.
I know.
I actually don't even look at fantasy. So it's hard. Yeah, I should have looked because that might have been a way to identify how much lower scoring there is. But does it actually affect when we're watching? Now, we haven't watched in a few weeks together. You know, we did a lot of big joint efforts to watch games. We're not watching this weekend because we're having a party the night before.
We'll be hungover,
no hanging out hungover.
No,
that's a rule. That should
Mutual
go in the manifesto.
Friend says, what are we doing? 10 o'clock. I said, check the manifesto. I'll be hungover.
Yeah. He's like, he asked me too. I said, we're not doing anything. We're not. No. You know what he likes? He likes that roll, that snowball effect. He needs to roll it in together.
He likes to roll. Hair of the dog.
That's in the manifesto too. But are you actually seeing it in the game? Like on Sundays, Scott Hansen's still excited. He's still showing us the game. I don't think it's any worse on Sundays. I think on Thursday nights and Monday nights, I'm seeing it more.
I think you're coming at it from the betting perspective, which a lot of people who listen to our show obviously also do. You've really been changing the masses. Friends of ours who have never bet before are like DraftKings,
degenerates,
sports Equinox parlays. They're becoming real degens, betting on sports they don't watch, the whole thing.
That's all we do. Yeah.
The betting folks might not understand it because if you're not doing over-unders, you're just doing the point spread. It won't be as apparent to you, right? The lack of touchdowns. But for me, living in the fantasy world, and that's what I care about in the red zone world, we're seeing so many less touchdowns, it bothers me. I normally would point to the quarterbacks. So normally by this time of year, there's like 6-star quarterbacks on injured reserve, and there's all these guys coming behind them who suck. And really, that's not the case. Most of the great quarterbacks are healthy right now. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Brady and Rodgers, they're all out there playing. They might not be playing well, but they're playing. And I think maybe it is coaching. Maybe it is so many offensive coordinators doing bad work and taking over teams like the Broncos who just don't have a clue. But then again, like Justin Herbert and the Chargers, why aren't they working better? Why is their offense so ugly?
Well,
that makes no sense.
That man had broken ribs. Like, how you can't hate him for that. Like,
but he gets shot up every week, so he feels fine.
I don't know how they go out there and do that because I can't even do it like if I have a sore ankle or something. So good for him. What do you think about the NFL announcing the Black Friday game for Amazon?
You know what? Someone made a great point. I saw that. So Amazon's going to start doing a Black Friday game starting Black Friday next year in 2023. Yeah. I think the day on the calendar is perfect for them when you think about Black Friday, because Black Friday is all about standing in line at Target and Walmart and Best Buy. What does Amazon want you to do? Stay
Shop
at home,
online.
buy on Amazon, and watch our game. And so it's like a double move to like get people out of big box stores and to buy more on Amazon, which is great. The 3 o'clock time, it's a little early. It's noon for us out here on the West Coast. But do you know why they have to do that? Do you know why it can't be in prime time?
Why can't it be in prime time? Oh,
There's a congressional act that says the NFL can never have primetime NFL games on Fridays because of high school football throughout the country.
really? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So they've already taken
Wow.
Thursday nights. They take
Yeah.
Saturdays at certain times of the
Sure.
year when
Yeah,
college
yeah.
football is done. They have
Yeah,
Sundays and
January.
Mondays. We saw during COVID some Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right? We had some
Well,
weird matchups
those
during
were
that
weird.
time.
Like you never
Well, that could
knew.
happen
Yeah.
again. I mean, they could do that. Like we're talking about putting teams in London
Yeah.
and international. Why not put those on Tuesdays and let people watch them, just at different times? But Friday night is the one window the NFL is not allowed to have.
I guess my only hesitation when I first saw it was I feel like after a day of eating and binging inside, I don't know if I want to be back inside again. Like for the next day to watch more football. Because I imagine, will we have one less game or will they move a Sunday game move a Sunday game over to a Friday? So then we have 3 Thanksgiving games, 1 Friday, and whatever remaining games on Sunday.
Exactly. So Sunday won't have as many games going on. I guess Red Zone will be a little slower with all the games on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to keep happening. I really think there'll be a Wednesday night package within a few years or a Tuesday night package, and it'll be every night of the week. And because honestly, what's working on TV right now? Like, what are TV networks prioritizing? It's sports. It's not new shows. They're not like performing well on traditional TV. It's sports and the NFL. So I think it'll happen every night.
That's interesting because I don't know if every single NFL game can be a primetime game. And we're seeing this with the Mondays, the Thursdays. It's hard to put on a good show. You have to get really good announcers. Kirk, not cutting it for me, doesn't know anything about football. Sometimes it sounds like he might just be a Madden rebroadcast of like somebody saying generic stuff while you're watching the game. There's not that many good announcers left. Monday night, they're doing great. They have too many great hosts actually now. Before years ago when they had Booger and all those other guys, they have too many good ones now. They have the Manny cast and they have what's their names? I always forget their names.
Buck and Aikman, they have.
Buck
Who's great? Yeah. A new addition, Larry Fitzgerald, Monday Night Countdown. I like. He's very well spoken, articulate. He's breaking it down. I like Larry on the show too. I don't think that's a reason not to expand. I think that it's on the networks to find the announcers for it. I think what we can try to attack, and something that bums me out, is that 10 a.m. window out here in the West Coast, 1 o'clock Eastern. It's often 9 games, 11 games, and like you can't keep up with them all. And what if there is a good game in that window? Every once in a while, you'll get like a few weeks ago, we had Bills and Ravens, and Lamar and Josh are trading blows, but it's on at the same time as 9 other games. And so if you can make that window a little smaller, make that 5 games every Sunday at 10 o'clock, right? Well, and then move 5 games out to Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays.
But they already do that, and we're already upset when there's only 3 games on Red Zone. We're like, this is bullshit. We're not hanging out together
in
the 1 o'clock slot. Yeah. We refused to hang out one Sunday because there was only 3 games and we didn't want to have that downtime.
Well, they were bad games though. They were actually bad games. Yes. Yeah. Like we would hang out for Bills Chiefs if we were all together. That was a good game in that window. And the NFL tries to get good matchups there, kind of like Sunday night, where they want to prioritize it and not have like multiple good games at once. I think I'm all for the proliferation of Sundays and moving those games throughout the week.
All right, before we get to like the big breaking news that happened last night, I wanted to tell you something. I saw this online somewhere where they had the Dolphins sideline in the shade. I did not know that in the afternoon, the Dolphins sideline where your players sit, Jeremy, they sit in the shade. So last Sunday they were sitting in the shade, a brisk 90 degrees in Miami in the shade, which is actually, it's not that bad. You're in the shade. Maybe there's a breeze. The Vikings sideline, not sitting in the shade. They don't get shade during the game. 125 degrees in the blazing sun. This makes me want to bet the Dolphins home games in the summer and this hot time so much more. It is such an advantage for you guys.
I'm
It's
sorry it took you
wild.
so long to realize that.
I
I'm
didn't
the
realize.
preacher of September Dolphins home games.
Didn't
Teams are
realize.
never ready for that. They're never ready. And I would say in September, the humidity is so bad that it's really bad on both sidelines, even if the temperature looks 30 degrees
Sure.
different. But what's a place that doesn't have humidity? California. And we know in
Mhm.
California, the difference between being in the sun and the shade is often like 20 to 30 degrees like that.
Yeah.
It truly is. And so it's like that no humidity time of October when that Vikings Dolphins game happened. The Vikings won that game, but they didn't play real well coming from the north. I saw the Steelers this week. They
Mhm.
cranked the heat up in their practice bubble, and they're
Oh.
practicing in the heat of like 90-degree heat inside like a dome, which is kind of like I feel like it'd be
Oh.
like a sauna, like you have a sauna and
Yeah.
it's just so stifling heat. But it's funny because the Dolphins are actually having a cold front in Miami this Sunday night, and it's a night game. It's
Mm.
gonna be like 60 degrees on Sunday night.
Oh.
But the Steelers are practicing in 90, so I'm not sure like if they're doing too
They're
much
not.
or what's
Yeah, they're
happening.
not. They're trying too hard.
Yeah, trying too hard.
Yeah. All right. So Christian McCaffrey traded last night. It was like a 8 p.m. West Coast alert. All of a sudden, he's been traded. Now, there was like rumors for weeks. I didn't actually think it was going to happen. San Francisco wasn't the team I thought he was going to go to. And what do you think about all the? It was a second round pick, a third round pick, a fourth round pick, and a fifth round next year, or
That's a
the
lot.
following year.
That's a lot for a running back, right? It's a lot. And they
Yes.
already gave up their first round pick. The Dolphins own it in the Trey Lance trade from a few years ago. So the 49ers'
Oh,
first pick will be in the third round. Now, they did acquire extra third round picks because when you have a minority assistant coach on your team who gets hired somewhere else for a
yeah.
promotion, like Mike McDaniel. There was that whole talk in the offseason. Is he a minority? Yes, he is 50% a minority. He's considered a minority. The 49ers got
What is he 50% of?
one of his parents is black.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the 49ers got 2 third-round picks when Mike McDaniel gets promoted to head coach of another team. So they have all these threes, is what I'm
Wait,
saying. So
how
it's
does
not
that
like
wait? Hold on a second. Wait, explain that to me. So if you have a minority head coach, you get an extra pick?
if you have a minority assistant coach who goes on to get a promotion, like if he's a receivers coach who becomes
Mm,
a
okay.
coordinator who becomes a head coach, if you get promoted for another
Yeah.
team, it's like good job developing a
Oh,
minority coach for our league because we need more of that. So here's your reward. And the NFL is now doing a reward system for it. That's pretty new. But the Niners
wow.
have all these third round picks because they have also the Jets head coach, Robert Saleh, was from the Niners. And so they got all
Oh,
these extra
interesting.
picks from this. And so
Okay.
they have more draft capital. But here's a few things. One, that's a
Tell me.
lot of a picks. And two,
Lots of picks.
McCaffrey makes a lot of money. He's on his rookie contract this year, so he's not making much this year. Starting next year, he has an extension where he's making like 15 to 18 to
Ooh,
20 million a year at the running back position. So it's a super bad deal starting next year for the Niners. It's only for this year. And so what I'm telling you is if they
yeah.
don't make it to the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl, it's a
Mhm.
fail of a trade because they're going to have to move guys off the team next year just to afford them. Plus, they gave up so much draft capital. Plus, he plays a position that doesn't make as much of an impact.
But are they playing the same game the Rams did? Are they saying, hey, we got a quarterback that's okay, similar to Matt Stafford? He was okay. He can throw the ball ish. Now we got the elite running back after I don't know how many running backs they have, like 25 running backs in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Is this the year that they actually, and they have Kittle, they have Debo, they have, Bosa, they have all these guys, right? So now all of a sudden, are they actually ready? Are they pulling a Rams in the NFC division and trying to become like, who cares about the draft picks? Give them away to everybody. We don't need them. We'll just go out there and try to win the game like this. Is that you think what they're going to do?
I mean, from the draft pick perspective, yes, but the salary cap matters too. And it is a salary cap sport where you can't have unlimited players making $20 million. And so if your running back's making that, what did the Rams do? They invested at key positions: quarterback, Stafford, Aaron Donald, defensive line, Jalen Ramsey, corner. Those are positions I want to build around more so than running
Sure.
back. I think this is a vanity play for Shanahan, who feels in his feelings that he lost his guy, Trey Lance. He's working with Jimmy G, who he clearly doesn't trust. They've
Yeah,
told us time after time.
I know.
And it's like, I need a new toy to play with, or else I'm going to have a boring season and we're going to go 5-12 and not be very good. And so he got his wish and they gave up a lot to get him.
The Seahawks made a trade and they got Cam Akers from the Rams.
They did?
I think so. I think that was I
Just
think
now?
yesterday, last night.
That didn't happen last night.
It didn't happen.
Who got you? Who
I
got
swear.
you? Cam
No,
Akers did not get traded.
I swear I was reading an article. I'm like, this kind of makes sense. Like get him for backup for Kenneth Walker. I swear I was reading an article. It wasn't even on Twitter.
Who got you?
Google News. Maybe it was like
Someone got
they
you.
should.
You
Maybe it was
answered.
like they should trade for him. I swear it was there.
They should trade for him. You're
should.
right. Someone should. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's in McVay's doghouse. He can't block in certain things. Well, put him out there and run plays. He's a running back. Put him out there and let him work some space. It's too bad what happened to him with the Rams, but he's not on the Seahawks yet.
All right. Well, hopefully they need somebody. All right. Let's do some picks.
Let's do some picks. How was last week?
Last week it was a losing week. We went 2-3. We're
Damn.
having a lot of trouble deciding.
I thought when I come over to the house and we do a podcast in person, it was going to change the momentum.
I thought it was too, but we're just getting on like the wrong side of things. We were on the Dolphins, then your boy Teddy gets hurt, or whoever gets hurt. It's just a mess. This week we have even sloppier teams. I'm really hoping one of these weeks we go 5-0, really catch up. Where do you want to start? Let's start with the obvious bet of the week. I think this is the bet of the week for most people here. They're going to be taking Tampa Bay at home, right? Wait, are they at home? Hold on, let me go to my board.
At Panthers.
No, in Carolina, playing the Panthers. This is a very obvious bet, right? They got McCaffrey got traded away. They're ready now. Carolina's falling apart. They got PJ. Is it PJ Walker? I think PJ Walker is their quarterback right now. Third string, maybe fourth string quarterback.
Yeah.
Double digit divisional home dog. We should have taken Carolina here. In no way am I taking a team that is selling every piece to anybody that offers them anything. I'm taking Tampa here at -11. We shouldn't do it. But after that one Pittsburgh game, I'm no longer just blindly taking plus over 9.5 points. So I'm taking Tampa here.
A few things. First, fans of the manifesto, as you said, not happy going against the grain here. Lawyer friend, speak up. Not happy. I know. Bucks -11. You say it's a game. It's the game of the week to bet. Wasn't the same thing said last week when they went to Pittsburgh and lost outright? They lost the game. The Steelers' money line covered with Mitch Trubisky converting 3 3rd and 12s, which is a record in Pittsburgh franchise history going back to the early 1900s. What are the Bucks doing? What is Tom Brady doing? He is joyless. He has no joy. There are Steelers players after the game talking about how it's so clear how depressed he is. He's yelling at his team on the sideline. After he went to Robert Kraft's wedding, which is a big story this week, he's missing walkthroughs, missing meetings, playing joyless. And now it's the bet of the week because they're on the road again. They're got to cover. They got to win by 11. And the Panthers, what if the Panthers say, you know what, F this, I'm going to fight my way out of here. The better I play, the more another team's going to want to get me out of here. So let me fight and play hard.
I thought of that. I just don't believe it at this point, because if they did, they would have been fighting hard for the last 6 weeks of playing football. They're now just selling their highest value items, and everybody else is just going to be stuck on the team, and it's going to be the worst team in the league. I think Tampa, listen, Tom is pissed. He's getting divorced. His O-line is not covering him. He's getting sacked. He's going to come back. He's pissed. He's not going to lose this game. My boy's going to cover for me. I'm going to win some money this week. That's what I want.
We'll see.
All right, next game. This is another obvious bet. After I watched that Thursday night game with Justin Fields, who cannot play quarterback at all.
Oh, we didn't watch that game. We made plans, so we didn't have to watch that game.
I know. Well, I watched that end, and I was seeing him try to score a touchdown. It made me realize you have to bet against him. We're taking New England here at -8. I don't care who's in quarterback. Zappy's great. Mac Jones is great. Chicago is a god-awful team, and I'm no longer taking teams that I don't even think have a chance to score a touchdown. I'm taking New England here. And I can't believe somebody in a NFL office decided that Justin Fields should be a starting quarterback of a franchise. Do people have brain damage? I watched him for 10 minutes and there was no God way. Why would I put him out there? He's worse than Mitch Trubisky. And I don't know how that's possible.
The Bears traded up to draft Justin Fields by giving up a first-round pick the next year to move from 20 to 12 to get him. And that got the whole regime fired. The GM and head coach got fired shortly after that. Why? because they failed with Trubisky and then with Justin Fields too. You're right. Fields is bad. The Bears offense is bad.
Yeah.
It's really only the rushing attack. Belichick can shut that down. The line's a little big at 8. I know you wish it was 6.5. You'd feel a lot better about it.
Oh yeah.
But I think they probably cover 8 also.
Well, now with our value system here, it's actually saying we're getting a 0.5 point of value on this game. So the line we set should be 8.5. We're getting it at 8. We think we have a little value on the game.
Let's get zapped. Bailey Zappy.
Boom, boom, boom. Zap, zap, zap. All right, next game. This was a late addition. Didn't talk about it all week. And then all of a sudden we decided to throw it in. We saw a lot of sharp betting going on over here. We are taking the New York Giants in Jacksonville. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes might be hot right now. And we're just going to ride the hot train, getting 3 points on the road. I love it. Give me Danny Dimes playing in Jacksonville. I'm in. That's it. That's our best analysis. We don't even have notes on this game. It's just like, yeah, this makes sense.
I'm not sure what to think of that. The Giants are weird. Like, who are the Giants? Are they the 5-1 team their record indicates, or are they the Daniel Jones and anonymous receivers who we don't know?
If you remember back to my lucky trend that we were looking at, where it ranks the luck scores of each team, the New York Giants are number 1, luckiest team.
Lucky.
They win close games. Jacksonville, the most unluckiest team. So we have the luckiest versus the unluckiest team this week.
But you're betting on the luckiest team.
I don't want to let these games go by. If luck is happening, I'm jumping on the luck train.
You're jumping on the luck train. So that's two ways to look at it, right? In the world of data, I would say if the luckiest team, the unluckiest team, they should combine in the middle at some point. They should both come back to the mean. You're saying it's more likely they continue.
I'm saying let's look at the real world, Jeremy. Let's imagine me, you, and mutual friend are all sitting at a blackjack table or a craps table. One of us is hot. You're going to probably ride that hot train until he's not hot. And
Mike gets hot at all tables. Just so everyone knows, Mike gets hot at tables. He does.
I'm going to ride you, and you want to ride it. You want to ride the train. You want to go on the ride until that ride is crashed or over. That's it.
Well, speaking of crashing, Daniel Jones is a ride that you're sure to crash and die on at some point the longer you ride it. So I hope it's not this week.
I don't know. Hopefully we don't get murdered this week, but we're riding it right now. This next game, there is absolutely no luck. There is no train to be ridden on for either of these teams. But we are going to be taking your Washington Commanders at home, playing Green Bay, getting 4.5 points at home. Here's a fun stat. Heineke, he's a better completion percentage from Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is terrible. Much more mobile than Carson Wentz. Cobb is out for the Packers. I think this is a great spot for Washington. I'm even going to bet this one money line. I think the Packers are terrible. I've ridden them for a few weeks. We tried betting them in London. Didn't work out. Danny Dimes beat them.
I think Jets beat them.
The Jets beat them. I think Green Bay is an absolutely terrible team with a guy that sucked all the money out of the team at quarterback with long hair, and he is no longer a good member of the team. He needs to be traded away.
I think he'll retire before he's traded away. He is a witch. I think he looks like a witch more and more. He's got the Rodgers skinny face or the Brady skinny face with the long weird hair and the ponytail. It's weird stuff. Listen, Heineke, I think you're onto something there. Remember the year the Bucks won the Super Bowl 2 years ago? It was Heineke. The playoff game was in Washington. Bucks went on the road. Heineke was playing for the Washington at the time. Maybe they were WFT. They had the lead in the second half of that game. That was like the toughest game that Brady had played in the lead up to that Super Bowl win. So I think he doesn't get enough credit. They paid Carson Wentz all this money. I think it's funny that they had this long 10 days from a Thursday to a Sunday, and they randomly announced in the middle of it Wentz had surgery. It's almost like they made a QB change, but they felt so bad about how they treated Carson Wentz, about the whole Ron Rivera thing, that they just called it an injury. And it's not even real, because I think they really wanted Heineke at this point because of how bad the offense was with Wentz.
I really like Heineke. I remember that Tampa Bay game. Heineke brings an energy that Carson Wentz didn't. Every time you see Carson Wentz out there, a little sad. A little like you should probably give it up, because he's technically won a Super Bowl, but I still feel like he's never really won a Super Bowl because he was the backup won a Super Bowl for him in Philly. So it's a very He's a
And that's
sad
a
guy.
great point about the backup is every time Carson Wentz leaves, his team gets better and the backup's normally better. So this should be another chance for
I
them.
love it. All right, good. I'm glad you're on one of the games this week.
Yeah.
All right, last game for the week. The only reason I'm really going on this is because I think we're going to get a lot of value. The line is going to be moving crazy, but I'm taking San Francisco at home, getting 2.5 points. I think the line's going to move because of that CMC news, but I don't think he's going to play this week. Kansas City, I think, is overvalued here. I don't know why San Francisco is not at least a pick 'em here or a -1 favorite at home. San Francisco, I think, is a big bet of the week. I would put a lot of money on this game. I think we see Kansas City. In my eyes, you think like Kelsey, you got Mahomes, they're good. Sometimes I don't think about that by San Francisco, but I think their defense is decent, and I like this spot for them. I like they're at home, they're ready to play, and they just got Christian McCaffrey, so they can go run those other quarterbacks as hard, those running backs as hard as they want because they got a backup coming.
I love the momentum play for the Niners because the morale has never been higher. When you add a guy like McCaffrey, like, yeah, it's going to hurt them long-term on the salary cap. It's not going to hurt them this year. And it makes them instantly better and gives them more hope. Like they're 3-3. They were heading into the Chiefs game. You're 3-4. You're probably not making the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden you have McCaffrey. He's going to play some plays, maybe some red zone plays, run the other running backs into the ground. Debo's going to be more open. I like the idea of their offense. The thing about the Chiefs is they're really good and they keep playing these tight games. And I've been watching their lines and they covered against the Bills. Despite losing, they covered, right? And so the Chiefs are a team that it's hard for them to lose a bet because I feel like they normally do cover. And I feel like you want Mahomes with the ball late versus Jimmy G with the ball late. So this is a game I looked at and I was like, it's probably going to be a great game. I don't know which side to take.
Okay. I like that. Now there was one game.
Can I guess what game it was?
Sure. What game?
The Seahawks-Chargers game.
Well, yes, we were on different sides. We had to just say we won't. He vetoed it. He wouldn't even let me pitch Seahawks this week. He vetoed this play right away. I don't know why. He vetoed it. So we were.
I looked at all the lines and I was like, Mike is not going to love a game more than Seahawks +6 against the Chargers.
It just seemed right? Like, why not? Seahawks is the play.
Chargers are bad. They played Monday night. Geno's hot. Big underdog.
You got to pitch this to our mutual friend. Sometimes he has a mindset and he's like, no, I can't change. So I can't fight it. So we got to just get off the game. So there's a winner right there. We just lost. Another one we were on the other sides of. We might start betting these or like whoever's hotter, like when we're on opposite sides.
Yeah.
Whoever's hotter gets the veto power next week. He does not have veto power right now, but we'll implement this later.
He's not the hot one.
Atlanta at Cincinnati. I really liked Atlanta. He really likes Cincinnati. Atlanta has now covered 6 straight games against the spread. And I know mutual friend decided, hey, we can't do what do you think? They're going to run out of luck here. They're not going to be able to do this one more week. And I think the public's thinking the same thing. No one's going to be able to do this 7 weeks in a row. Well, guess what? They did it 6 weeks in a row. Why can't they do 7? Why can't they do 8? I want to ride the hot train. You know, I want to ride the hot train. I'm on it. The Saints moved really well against Cincinnati. Atlanta has been rushing 150 yards per week since Patterson has been out, so they've been doing good. I don't even know who's running there. I'm ready. I'm ready for Atlanta to beat Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati's that good.
I don't understand. It's not, but you're passionate about it. I don't understand how Atlanta covers like they do, and I know they do. I know they're lucky. I know you have them high in the luck rankings. I know they cover most weeks. I know you've won bets on them.
No,
I don't know how, because you look at their roster.
Not most. They have covered every single week of this NFL season.
That's crazy. Cincinnati tends to cover. They didn't cover when they lost to Pittsburgh week 1. They do tend to cover. Their offense looked much better against New Orleans last week.
I was just going to say they've only beat 2 teams by more than 6.5 points this season.
The Dolphins.
And this is a 6.5 point game. Just saying,
the
it's a close game.
Are on their Super Bowl hangover, but Mike, it's late October. They're coming out of that. You always come out of your hole in mid-October when you have a Super Bowl
Gopher coming in.
The Gopher's coming out, and Joe Burrow's coming out. I know he's spooked by the sneeze recently. I looked at this game preparing for the show, and I was like, that's one you don't really know what's going to happen. And
so you still think Cincinnati deserves 6.5 points at home?
Yeah, I think Atlanta's fraudulent. And that's me telling you that the luck rankings will even out, and you're telling me the luck rankings will continue. And I love the 2 schools of thought on that. I think you can see both
50-50 chance, right?
Yeah, reasons it could continue. But we should keep an eye on your luck rankings throughout the year and keep
I
checking in
know.
and
I
see
got
if
to
there
check
is
in.
some regulating or if these teams stay at the top all year.
So what I did was I did a round robin, which I've been kind of dabbling in a little bit. And that's like, they basically make 4 or 5 different bets based on how many games you have. So I put Atlanta, Seahawks, Washington, and who else did I put in there? I think I put those 3 teams and maybe the Jets. And I threw those into a round robin, money line round robin. And it's going to go like 2 games each. So it's going to go Washington Jets, Washington Seahawks, and one of those will hit, and I could potentially win up to like $500 on that bet if the round robins hit. And I kind of like the round robins because it's not just a straight bet; it kind of gives me a nice variety of stuff. Trying a lot of different things.
All right. And you had the sports equinox this week. We didn't even talk about how just a few days a year you get football, NBA, NHL, and MLB playoffs. It happened on Thursday. It's happening on Sunday. It's happening on Monday.
What's
maybe
happening
the next weekend.
Wait, how many days is it happening? It's
happening Sunday.
Well, it's definitely happening Sunday if there's a baseball game, right?
It's happening Monday.
It's happening Monday too. There's baseball,
and then
basketball.
It's happening the next.
I'm gonna lose so much money. Oh my god!
You gotta keep it going. You gotta bet every equinox. Maybe you'll get one right.
No, I hope I do. All right, good show. Check out the Sports Hangover. New swag up on the website right now. New land. It's all refreshed. We're ready to go. The winter is here. Get your sweaters. They're a little pricey, but they're very high quality. That's all I'm gonna say.
They're super soft.
Yeah. Super soft. That's it. Good show. See you.